she and her fiance had came up to my house and banging on the window to get me to come down there.
I was mad because my fiance and I were fighting. I had saved up for the wedding, and I trusted him to the point where it caused so much turmoil in my relationship that is over and done with. This is my hometown. Stuff like this doesn't happen over here.
Plaintiff Sarah McKay claims the defendant destroyed her roof and her relationship. She's suing for $5,000. Defendant Paul Nobile claims he could have finished the job, but the plaintiff wouldn't let him. He says he owes nothing.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thank you. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Good morning, Judge.
Morning, Najee. How are you?
I'm doing well, Judge. Thank you.
Good.
This is case number 105 on the docket, McKay versus Noble.
Thank you, and
You're welcome,
welcome to both of you. The plaintiff, Sarah McKay, and you are suing the defendant, Paul Nobile, excuse me, for $5,000 for not properly fixing the roof of her house.
I purchased my childhood home 8 years ago in New Hampshire. I live in Massachusetts.
Yes.
And it's a really old house. It was constructed in 1890. Paul had left his business card tucked in the door, under the doorway.
You just knew that this guy was leaving this card underneath your door?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was looking to have it remodeled. I had purchased some roofing material 3 years ago. I gave him a $500 cash deposit and post-dated a check for $1,500. He would be able to get everything done within 3 days. I trusted him. Everything that he said was smooth and believable, and I'm not a roofer.
How much did you end up paying him?
I've paid him $7,500 for labor and over $3,000 in materials. I was like, okay, this is great. I'll make you a key. You can work on it. I'm 4 hours away. He goes, I'll send you pictures every day and send you copies of receipts, which he never did.
This is right outside the dormer that's above in front of the house. This is a big hole of rot that was already exposed with hornets and everything else in there. We fixed this, and I mentioned to her that the materials she had out in front of the property that had sat exposed to weather, 3.5 years, and I went and purchased the new materials. This side of the house had been layered and layered and layered, and during that process there was all kinds of insulation laid on this. D13 shows more of the rot, and D14 shows how it actually was already exposed into the interior of the house. It had to be dismantled. That's considered in our trade as a demo work. All new rafter boards had to be sistered to old rotting ones.
There is no way that you should have been involved in a conversation that says $2,000.
To finish the job within 3 days with 3 of my workers, we would have had it done if there was no demo or repair work. And this job, Your Honor, was billed by the hour, and yes, it went longer than expected. And I did send her pictures every day of the metal coming off, the stuff on the roof, and when the leak started, it was because we were into major storm. She took me upstairs, showed me the water coming in. I said, let me get on the roof and put the cap on. No, I think we're done here.
Why would I have somebody else on my roof that already did damage to it in the middle of a lightning storm to where I could be responsible if something happened? He even got paid for the job to be completed without completing it. I asked you over and over, do you have enough materials? Is everything right? Yeah. Well, then why are you going to the lumber store?
All the money she's paid gone toward the demo labor, which was expected more after we exposed the damage.
You never told me that. In good faith, I'm coming up 4 hours to give you the cash for the deal. I was like, my fiance and I were fighting. I had saved up for a wedding dress. I had saved up for the wedding itself.
Yeah.
Okay,
take it. Let her. Don't interrupt. Let her finish and take your time.
You know, he was really unprofessional, and I'm like, this is my hometown. This is New Hampshire. Stuff like this doesn't happen over here. People are better, and it's just, you know, somebody that lives up the road, and I trusted him to the point where I couldn't deal with either of them. And I was like, look, I don't think this is a good relationship. Would you be willing to reimburse me? And he said yes.
What were you willing to reimburse her?
For any materials that her fiance kept trying to say that was damaged, and there was no damage.
I have an estimate from another company up there that shows they went up and they took pictures. They had to tarp it. It cost me $736 to have an emergency tarp put on because the ridge cap was never put on.
Exactly.
Between the money that I've spent on the repair and and what it's going to cost to repair is more than the whole property that I've paid for.
Deposit required for $500. She actually put down $1,500. You could finish the job in 2 days.
Absolutely,
And for
Your
how
Honor.
much is that?
$650 left to pay.
I
Okay.
already paid for the completion
Okay.
in full.
She paid for hourly labor.
He is standing here saying for $650 it would happen. I can't find anything in evidence. Why am I going to make a decision that is going to cost you money? Even if I gave you every penny that this court is allowed to give you, you would still wind up losing $10,000.
Right.
And I am
And I
willing
would
to
have
say,
somebody that would
I am
do it
willing
up
to
to
say,
code
if
that
I
I
dismiss
trusted.
this case, it's only going to cost you $650, and you'll still have the guarantee that
By
the work
somebody who
has to
did
be done to
poor
code and
workmanship.
everything. It's a warranty. For your benefit and for your benefit, I dismiss the case.
Thank you, Your Honor.